wife's like, "You were really good the first time." I'm like, "Yeah, but we can't do silent movies on YouTube." So.
Oh man, this is going to be one of my best. I know it's going to be great.
Yeah,
it's brilliant, and then it's not.
I was looking forward to this all day.
Either one of y'all want to do the intro?
No, I'm just a co-guest.
I need my hat to wear backwards, but
I'm not used to the new haircut with you there, Stuart. You got short hair, man.
You just got to know me the one time in my life I had long hair. So
welcome back, everybody, to the Finders Flippers Resale Podcast. Gentlemen, we are sitting at episode 68. We thought it was going to be 67, but we had already recorded that one. So here we are at episode 68. How you doing?
Wow, and it looks like somebody's missing from the show tonight.
Yeah, what's happened?
Somebody less handsome is in there, so you know.
Donnie didn't follow through on his threat to quit, did he?
Oh man,
he may have. Well, we have David Beckham in here pinch hitting for Johnny. Johnny is on vacay. I think he went to Florida. So
he went to the beach, so he'll be back. Don't worry.
Yeah.
David knows how to pinch hit, though, David. And especially we're during baseball season. Stuart, I noticed your balls took it on the chin this afternoon.
Yeah, they did. Which has nothing to do with why I'm wearing the Ole Miss shirt, but they took it on the chin as well. But I did send a lot of money to Ole Miss with my daughter going there, so this is a leftover from those days.
Well, I'm going to talk about a couple things that I picked up. I've had this one for a while. Actually, I'm wearing this one tonight because I'm getting ready to sell this one. Billy Joel.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
In concert. Check that out. I just put it on for the show, but I want you to see the back of it if you can. I don't know if you can or not.
Oh, yeah.
Lambeau.
Yeah.
Lambeau Field. Yeah, that's awesome.
Lambeau in 2017. So I think what I'm going to do at the end of the show, because this will come out on Wednesday, I'm going to put this shirt up. I've held on to it, wanting to keep it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let it go. So,
well, I mean, I know he's quit touring now, so and it sounds
for
like
a while. For a while.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I know he hopes to come back, but you never know. So, I mean, it probably is a good time to sell something like that.
Oh yeah.
This one I actually sold, Stuart. I want to show this one to you. Check this out. My little miniature teapot.
Oh wow! So you got a poly mailer ready to go to throw that thing in?
Of course, I got the biggest one, so it'll move around a whole lot, But yeah, that one's shipping out tomorrow to a lady in Colorado. So thanks to her for purchasing that from me. I appreciate it. And I think I put a short up on this one. This was my find of the day yesterday, boys.
Oh, nice.
Red hot.
Oh, that's a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Massive. Yeah, it's really big.
Well, that's nice.
But,
yeah, speaking of shorts, Wes, between you and me, we've been loading up quite a few shorts, and they've been doing pretty well. So
yeah, they have.
I've been watching your shorts.
We've had, let's see, 3 out of our last 6 shorts we've put up. 5 of them have gone over 1,000, and 1 hit over 1,500. So,
David, awesome. Do you put up a lot of shorts?
I wasn't, but I've started. So what I've done is I've got a couple packages of software that I've been using to strip out parts of my videos, and I'm putting those up. But I also shot one last week where I'll see if you guys have discovered this, but this is something that came up last week. But I've been sending out offers, right? So I'll send out, this happened the past 2 weeks, that a lot. I sent out an offer and for 15, maybe 10, 15, 20%, and I get back a full price sale. And so the first time it happened, I thought, great, this is good, right? Good money, right? And then it happened again. And then I thought, okay, that's kind of weird. And then it happened again. At this point, I'm like, okay, so what's going on? And I realized I was getting emails also from eBay on stuff that I was watching. Whenever there was a competitive offer being sent out, it said, hey, a competitive offer was just sent out on this item. Mm-hmm. You may want to jump on it before it sells. And I think that's been happening. It happened to me 5 times in 2 weeks that I've gotten full price sales on items that I'd sent offers out on. So I did a short on that. That actually did pretty good. about 863 views. But yeah, I've been trying to do shorts. I need to do better shorts. You guys' shorts are actually better than mine. So I need to do better shorts. So, but they're getting like, 1,000 views. I mean, that's, but I've been cutting up the videos like you guys have been doing. I saw what you were doing, with cutting up the videos and doing the little shorts out of those. And so I've been trying those. I'm trying whatever I can to grow the channel right now. It was growing like crazy. Of course, that happens when something goes viral, and then now it's kind of slowed a little bit. But I'm still getting like 2 to 5 a day. So
yeah, it's just, I think we talked about in the live a little bit, trying to find that magic bullet. And I know, we've yet to have that happen on really. We've had a couple of shorts that have gone, 6,000, 7,000, and that was good. But we've yet to have like just a regular video go more than 300, I think. So
yeah,
I can imagine it's probably frustrating when you have one go 6,000. So you're like, yes, I've made it, and then the next one's kind of go back. So it's just it's weird how it's hard to find that special sauce to what makes a video go viral, and how do you replicate that video after video after video. So
yeah, it's just, you got to say I thought, well, maybe it was the AI, maybe it was this. I've done other ones that didn't do it. It's just something in this one just hit people. And I think that's what it is. I also think there's a lot to do with the YouTube algorithm. I think it chooses and picks things. It might pick something. It may have picked up on something. Listen, I've used ChatGPT to figure out 3 ways from Sunday, trying to figure out what happened on it, but nothing conclusive comes back. So I don't know if I could do it again.
I think I had one Instagram reel that got like 16,000 videos, and it was literally me. It was at the 127 yard sale 2 years ago, and I stopped by a table and there was an old timey telephone. Well, it wasn't that old, but it was just a dial one. And I just said, "Hey, who remembers their home phone number from when they were a kid?" I just picked up the receiver and dialed it, and that's all I did. And it's funny. I thought, well, this got a lot of views on Instagram. Cool. So I put it on TikTok and a YouTube short, and it didn't hardly get squat. So, something, once again, just something at that moment in time caused Instagram to push it.
Simple. Just something simple. You know what? I still remember my home phone number. Do you remember your home phone number? 319-754-4988. I mean, I never forget.
Well, you got to go 5,
3. Well, that's why you remember it. But that's why you remember it, because it took so long to do it. 3. If you messed it up, you had to go do it again. It's like 3.
Go all the way back over.
1.
Then it's like you got high tech and you get beep, 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 beep.
That's why I can't remember anybody's phone number now. I still don't know my daughter's phone numbers. I bought their phones. I can't remember. I have to look them up.
Dave, on those shorts though, like yesterday, I was going up that driveway and I just started filming the sign. It's like I told you, just hit record. And I thought, you know what, there may be something cool up here, and you never know. I mean, when you're going to these places, I thought, okay, we'll see what happens. So I walked up this driveway. My legs were sore from it because this is one of the steepest driveways I've ever had to go up. Yeah. I mean, I worked for that Red Hot Chili Peppers poster. But I walked by the sign. I thought, well, maybe I can get something cool in here. And then I shut it off. And then when I walked downstairs and I turned that corner, I went, oh, my word. I've got to have that. That's awesome. Turn it back on, I don't wear a camera when I'm going to do those things. So I pull my phone out.
Yeah, that's all I do. So do y'all know for sure? So I know, like, if you look at getting monetized on the earn area in YouTube, it shows you got to have the 500 subscribers, at least 3 video uploads, and then it says, and one of the following 1,700 or 3,000 public watch hours, 3 million public shorts views. Are the shorts treated completely separate, or does their watch time also go towards your public watch hours? I mean, I know it's going to be a smaller amount because they're 15, 20-second videos. So even if 3,000 people watch it, you're not talking about a lot of time. But I was just curious if they're completely separate and it's only views, or does that time count towards your watch?
It is 500, but you have to have at least 3 video uploads the last 90 days. But you have to have one of the following, either 3,000 watch hours or 3 million 3 million views on
and so my question was, so I know like a view doesn't matter how long they watch the short, just if it gets counted as a view, but does the time watching shorts count towards that first category of public watch hours? I mean, I think it probably does, because even if you have even if you have something go 5,000 views and it's only 20 seconds long, I mean, you're not talking about a huge amount of time.
Yeah, no, I think
if anybody knows the answer to that for sure, please put that in the chat. Whether shorts time viewed counts towards your watch hours. I think it probably does, but it's not real clear on that.
No, it's not really. And I know I'm at about halfway on my watch hours, but I've got a little ways to go. I have 1,565 watch hours, but I mean, I don't, like I said, I think I'll hit 1,000 in a year. I think that's going to be the goal, but I mean, I don't expect to make money off this. So I think I'll just have more fun doing it. But you know what I have made money off of? My links that I put on there for Amazon. So I've been doing some book reviews, and I've gotten a few people that have touched that. So that's kind of nice. So it makes me feel like at least I'm doing something, that people like. So yeah, I've gotten a few of those. So I'm trying to do those more too, because that kind of woke me up and said, I don't know, I talk about these things, but I don't put my links in there. But now I've redone my links on my videos. So those are like affiliate links for Amazon? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I just got an affiliate link in there.
I should probably do more of that as well. Really, the only affiliate type link I put up is I do my List Perfectly referral code link. And I mean, I get roughly $70 a month, from List Perfectly. Although, to be honest, most of that's from like when I was at the very first Boss Resale Remix, and I signed up like 6 people, and I've only signed up a handful since then. But it's like free money.
People just try it, and $99 a month that pays for most.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm paying for a lot of mine per month. So I have tried to start making some shorts, like where I focus on, hey, I sold all these things, and it was on eBay, Etsy, Mercari, Poshmark. Thanks to List Perfectly. If you want to try it yourself and use code FHB to get 30% off your first month, and so.
See, I would probably go back if I could get more of those to do that. But right now, I honestly don't think I can. I don't think I could go back to cross listing as much as I'm doing on Did. I mean, we had over almost $800 in sales last week on Did. I mean, I had 4 auctions. I'm tired, but
when are we going to do the hat auctions, David?
I was just going to talk to you about that later. So we want to get that done. I've got a bunch of clothes. So what I do is we'll do a threads auction. You'll do hats. I'll do clothes and hats, and then we'll do whatever we got in there and throw it. Plus, if you have like plush or anything like that, you could throw that in there too, because it's all good. But I definitely want to do that real soon. So we'll talk, set up a time. But yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I had 2 comic auctions last week. Tuesday's comic auction did about $50, which wasn't like set the world on fire. But I did a comic auction on Thursday that did $204. That's before shipping. I mean, we had plus shipping costs on that. And that was an hour's worth of that was a lot of sales. But it was so much fun. And the people, I just love the people on there. So then we did a media and we did games on Monday and media and games on Friday. Sherry and I both did those. So it was kind of fun. She's been helping out a lot on those. It's been kind of a good time for both of us. But yeah, I can't do that every week though, because I can't find enough stuff to do that every week. Right.
Yeah, and that's the problem I run into with Whatnot too. And of course, I mean, especially since I do reselling full time. I mean, yeah, I started on Whatnot, but I didn't quit cross posting. I mean, I do just as much on there. I mean, I'm kind of glad I did, because I got so excited about Whatnot, and Johnny will kind of echo this too. We did so well the first year, and then it's just like, I don't know. I think especially in the ephemera category, it's just this. I mean, there's a lot of new buyers, but it's still a lot of the same buyers. And, like fruit can labels are a good example. I used to sell those, and you'd get $20, $30 for a lot of, say, 15 or 20, and now they'll go for like 3 to 5. Same thing with, I mean, there's just a lot of examples of that where the market's gotten glutted. Comic books are probably a little different because,
Whatnot, I don't know. Yeah.
But, it's, I don't know. And I mean, I'm always trying to diversify too, just in case. You never know when one platform's going to go south. And, I try not to get too excited when one does well, because I know, it can always crash one day. But
Yeah. Well, how many followers do you have on Whatnot?
a little over 3,500.
See, that to me is the ticket to how you can succeed on Whatnot. You got that many followers on Whatnot, then so every time you go up, somebody's going to be notified. So
But I haven't seen that translate into viewers really. And what I've found now, looking at the ephemera category, I mean, people that used to pull, 50 to 60 viewers consistently now look like they're more in the 20s. And then people like me used to pull in the 30s. I'm usually sitting at 10 to 15 viewers per show. It's just the number of viewers per show has gone down. There are a few more shows going on, but, I don't know exactly what's going on. And it'll be interesting to see now that supposedly eBay's getting into the true live selling game. I mean, they've been kind of beta testing live selling, but it's been not like the same format that your Whatnots and Didbits and Knickknacks is used. But I've heard they're going into just like anybody can live sell, and it's going to be just like Whatnot, where you can sell anything and you start things at whatever you want. Where I think previously it was more like you were selling stuff out of your catalog or.
Well, it's right now. All I've still seen is big sellers, really big sellers. So
it'll be interesting to see if they truly can do that and what effect that has on the other platforms. Who knows?
eBay is the 800-pound gorilla in the room, right? So, I mean, if they figure it out, honestly, they'll put Whatnot out of business. That's what I truly, or Whatnot's going to have to specialize down, because I think what you're experiencing is a lot of what other people are. What I've heard is that there are so many people now on Whatnot. It's hard to get people to your show because there's too many shows to go to. I can go on there right now. There's 500 people selling comics right now.
Yeah, that's the problem in your original comics, Pokemon, coins, all those. They're sports cards, especially. Sports cards is probably the worst. There's probably 1,000 sports card shows going on right now. And if you're not one of the real big ones, and although, Whatnot's, I'll give Whatnot kudos. They have been cracking down on a lot of these sellers that were big but dishonest.
I've heard that. I've heard that. Yeah,
they've thrown some off.
Yeah.
So what platforms do you sell on, David?
Right now, just eBay and Dibdit. I've taken everything off Mercari and all the other ones just because, again, it's not. List Perfectly is a great platform. I love what they did. I love what they do. It's just that I could not justify the $99 a month because I wasn't making that much off of Poshmark or anything else. And, whether we go back to Poshmark or go back to Mercari, I don't know. I mean, I just didn't. Honestly, I don't even know about Mercari anymore. Mercari, I feel like it's just kind of going down the tube, unfortunately. Because,
I rarely make a sell on Mercari. I still cross post there just because the delta for timing. It's like the quickest platform to list on, so it adds like an extra 10 seconds to the process. But I mean, to be honest, between my sales are mostly eBay, Etsy, in Facebook Marketplace. I sell a surprising amount on Facebook Marketplace, both shipping and local pickup.
Really?
And I think I mentioned it during the live. I love selling stuff local pickup on Facebook because all my prices on Facebook Marketplace include shipping. I mean, I do free shipping everywhere except Etsy. That's the only place I do calculate shipping. So, if somebody's doing local pickup, so if you're watching this and you live in Knoxville and see something about on Facebook Marketplace, I mean, people send me an offer, I'm most likely going to accept it because you don't pay fees if it's local pickup. B, I don't have any shipping costs. So, I can usually sell things for, 20-25% cheaper and still make the same or more money than but it's amazing how many people just pay full price on the local pickup and never even ask me to take any off. So it's kind of
just don't sell my terrible towels you got, Stuart.
I won't. Don't worry, Wes. I thought of you when I bought those, so those are coming your way. So
I'm totally stoked by that. I needed you yesterday, actually, where I bought this Red Hot Chili Peppers poster. I went into another room and they had about 8 annuals in there from East Tennessee State University. I don't know anything about them. I didn't buy them. I left them, but I was like, But I didn't take them. But I walked into another room and I did pick this up. Now, those annuals were from the 60s.
How much were they asking a piece for them? Do you know?
I think they were $8 a piece.
Yeah, that's on the outer edge of what I would pay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny you mentioned that because I actually started the beginnings of a short on a yearbook I sold because I've sold 3 yearbooks in the last week and, probably 10 in the last month. It's almost like a bread and butter item if I can pick them up. But, one of the things I point out in the short, the one I sold today or the one I did the short on was going to Unicoi County, or it was from Unicoi County here in Tennessee. So needless to say, nothing against Unicoi County, but there were no famous people in that yearbook. There may be somebody famous from Unicoi County, but when I Googled it, nothing came up. But, I do say in the short, always Google that college or high school, like so-and-so famous alumni, because you never know who you'll find. I mean, in the last 6 months, I've sold a Don McLean of American Pie fame yearbook, and that was like $50 or $60. Then I sold a Bearden high school yearbook, which is here in Knoxville, and the Weezer guitarist went to Bearden. So I think I sold that one for $30. So you just never know who might be in those.
Are those the only ones that spell? Oh, sorry.
But
look at that.
Sigma Kappa.
Sigma Kappa, yeah.
So, and it's let's see this other one here. And remember, these are old. These are like from the 60s.
Wow.
You can see right here Russell Southern on the tag.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, vintage fraternity stuff should sell pretty well.
Yeah, I should be able to sell that. Yearbooks, do you, is it only the yearbooks that sell that have somebody famous or something from that? Or is it
the majority of them are not somebody famous. I mean, a lot of times they'll go to the city or maybe the state where the yearbook's from. I mean, sometimes they go somewhere completely random. And you'll also get questions like, hey, can you check in the 10th grade section and see if so-and-so's in there?
Okay.
And then they may be like a family member or something. So
I want to call you and I didn't. I should have called you.
I need to look at that from now on because I've seen a lot of yearbooks and I just don't pick them up, but I never even thought about that.
And I usually put anywhere, I mean, depending on condition, I mean, there's some that'll have a little bit musty smell or something. And I'll sell those for less, but on average between $20 and $30 is usually what I sell them for.
That's good. So when you pick them up, what is your ceiling?
I mean, usually $5 is the most I'll pay. And a lot of times, especially in an estate sale, if they have a bunch of them, if they might have 8 on them, I'll say, hey, if I buy them all, can I get them for $4 each? And usually they're sure. So,
is there a difference between high school yearbooks and college yearbooks that you've seen? Or is it just pretty much the same? I
mean, I've sold more high school yearbooks, but that's probably as much as you think you find more high school yearbooks. A lot of people don't even get their college yearbook because now college yearbooks are more likely to not have signatures in them because not many people sign their college yearbooks. But it's funny some of the signatures you'll find, especially ones from the 70s. Hey, have a good summer and smoke dope all summer, and this and that. And so,
well, I'm gonna take you both down one more avenue, and then I'll let you all jump back on wherever you're going. Here you go.
Oh wow!
Vintage advertising.
Wow.
Yep.
If you see where it says about the wartime car service.
Oh wow!
So, Stuart, what do you do with this kind of stuff? Because I have zero ideas. I just knew it was cool.
I've had very little luck just selling individual ads out of magazines. But then you talk to the $1 Million Peddlers. I think both David and Mr. Magazine have pretty good luck selling ads like that. I know on Whatnot they don't go for much at all. I mean, you got a lot of them up to really get any interest. And I mean, if you look on eBay and do comps, there are some that sell, but I've put them out there before. And I won't say I've never sold one. I have, but they don't go for a whole lot. And so, I don't know. For me, they've never been a big seller.
I've never thought about those, though. I mean, that is kind of cool. I have a whole bunch right now. I'm just sitting on top of them. I have a whole bin of Life magazines and Time Life. Let's see, there's a couple others that are all either have John F. Kennedy, Marilyn Monroe, or somebody on it. but they're all in there. My daughter picked them up at a estate sale. She thought that I needed them, but I haven't been able to sell them, or I haven't done anything with them yet. I haven't not been able to sell them. I just haven't listed them, but I need to get them listed.
Check. Most of the Life magazines are not worth that much. I usually sell most of them out of my booth for like $5 a piece. But check the date and then the comps on the Marilyn Monroe cover, because I did sell like a Marilyn Monroe first appearance Life magazine cover for like $350, and it was in decent condition, but it was by no means mint. So make sure you check that one.
The lady also had a first appearance, or she had a Playboy, Marilyn Monroe Playboy that was there. And I was like, that one would have sold. It would have sold really well. I don't know, guys. I'm sitting on about 140 Playboys I need to sell. So I can't sell them on Dividend.
They're hard to sell these days because, a lot of the online marketplace, and I think you can still sell them on eBay if you put them in the right category and don't show pictures of the centerfolds and all that. But they don't sell for a whole lot either. I've
sold about 50 of them so far because I had over 200, and I've sold them for about $15.99 to $18.99 free shipping.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
So they cost they're not light. They cost about $7 to ship. So I'm making my money back. I'm into them for less than 60 cents a piece, but it was one of those silly buys that I go, I wish I wouldn't have done that, but I did because it was such a good deal at the time. And there were about 10 of them in there that actually sold for a lot that were really well. So they paid for almost 3/4 of the amount, but the rest of them I'm just sitting on. So I don't know what to do with them. I think I'm going to lot them up and just sell them in big groups. Just try to get rid of them. I don't know.
It's always nice when you can find big lots of stuff and you can sell a couple of things and pretty much get your cost of goods sold back. And it's like I'd done a short on it. I bought all those Western posters. They were like from the 30s to the 50s, and sold some of them on Whatnot on Friday. They ended up selling for like $10 a piece, which was the starting bid on them. So I think I sold 6 or 7 of them on that. But in with those Western posters was this map from 1950 that was a United Nations map. I guess that's about the time the United Nations was getting started. So it was basically a propaganda map for the United Nations, and I just sold it a few minutes ago for $160. So
that's awesome.
Paid for almost everything that I bought. I think I paid $200 for all the Western posters and everything else that was in there. And I still have some Broadway posters left, like they're huge, but they're folded up. So, but yeah,
David, I've got a special unboxing going on right now.
What's that? Oh no!
Check this out.
What is that?
It is a package from Stuart.
Oh, Stuart.
Stuart. He has sent me a package, so we're going to figure out and find out what he sent me here on episode 68.
He sent you back the rest of your Beanie Babies.
You think you did? Which we still need to get together on that, Stuart.
Yeah. I got to give you money, and B, you got to give me more Beanie Babies.
That's right. That's right. We're going to do both. Okay. Check this out, boys.
Oh, you got a mug. You got the mug.
Hey.
That's an awfully big box for one mug.
Well, he didn't throw it in a poly mailer, so
nice.
Check it out.
Look at that. You guys are official.
Yeah. We're on a coffee mug now.
It was an 8x8 box, so I usually use those with
QR code on the back. Everybody scan that QR code.
Well, so there is a story behind that. So I thought it would be cool to put a QR code on there because, but then I got the mugs back and the QR code didn't work. I think I needed to make it smaller. I think it curves around the edges. So I reached out to Vistaprint where I had them done and said, hey, the QR code doesn't work. So they sent me 5 new mugs at no extra charge. So I've got 3 now of the ones with the QR codes, and I used one. I gave one to Wes and one to Johnny.
Nice.
Still got 2 more, but I have 5 to give away that don't have QR codes. So
check it out.
I like it.
I'll probably give those away at the East Tennessee Reseller Meetup because I don't know if I've mentioned it on the show. I ended up doing a sponsorship for the event through Franklin Hill Ventures. So
nice.
So I'll be providing some giveaways. I'll do both some Founders Flippers and some FHV swag. So if you're coming to the East Tennessee Reseller Meetup in September, I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head.
I think it
it's
is late September, 26, 27, 28.
Yeah,
Yep.
that sounds right. Yeah, you'll have the opportunity to get some Slim Flipper stickers, mugs, whatever we happen to have at that point. And then I'll probably also be giving away some of my Franklin Hill Farms jams, pickles, sauces, those kind of things.
And Johnny's going to send you some Finder Flippers stickers as well.
Yep.
So he's going to give you a roll.
So anyway, looking forward to that event and was glad. I figured since it was right in my backyard, it was, a good opportunity to help mainly Rocky Tops, the guy who's, the heading it up. But then Mike and Mary are both real involved in it too. I know Mary's doing all their like marketing and signups and all that for them. So
what's the, you have to put the address out there or the web address. Is there, because I haven't seen anything on it yet. I might see.
Yeah, I know if
it'll
you
be
go
in
to
Greenville, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you go to the Reseller, is it Reseller Locker Room? Is that the name of their podcast?
Yeah, Reseller Locker Room podcast, I believe.
Yeah, if you go to their Facebook page, so just search Reseller Locker Room on Facebook, and they have a page, and that's where all the information is, because that's Rocky Top Pickers podcast.
I think I'm following them. I have to go look and see, but I think I am. Okay.
Yeah, it'd be great if you could come up. So
I'm going to see what we can do. It's so much going on right now. Trying to get my daughter. Hopefully, she gets a job here before the end of July when we have to move her, so I don't have to move her here and then move her again. So, hoping.
You're just like, no, wait a minute. I got you graduated. That's it. We stopped. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm doing everything I can to get her off the payroll because I want her to be successful, but I also want that boost of income that I'm going to get by her.
It's nice. We had 4 kids in college, basically all at the same time. And then for 1 year, and then it was, then they started rolling off, and it was like getting a huge raise. But if anybody is coming to the East Tennessee event, put it in the comments so we know you're coming. So looking forward to meeting a lot of people, especially since I didn't get to go to Nashville.
Yeah, you should try to come, David, because you can work it around and head to Sevierville and Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, because it's not very far from Greenville.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out something. Yeah, I'm just trying to look at it and see what we can do. Just like I said, just kind of depends on what we've got going on. In October, I've got to be in Iowa for my brother's wedding. So he's getting remarried. And then, so that's about, but that's, I don't know. I'll have to figure out if I have some time, but I think I might. I'll take a look at it.
Well, it's kind of like Nashville. It's a pretty loose agenda. I think Friday night it's at the Moose Lodge, which I think brings back some college memories. We actually went to the Elks Lodge, but in Cookville, you could get a 1-day membership and go to the Elks Lodge, and dance and drink and stuff. So I think they're doing all the pre-thing activities on Friday night at the Moose Lodge, and then Saturday's a combination of yard selling on Saturday morning, and then going to a couple of flea markets in the afternoon. So.
Good flea markets
trip for you.
Yeah. Do y'all have flea markets in your area?
Yeah, there's a couple. There's a big one like right off in the Sevierville exit. That's where I kind of got my first taste. Well, it wasn't my first because I did the sports card booth back in the 90s, but like 10 years ago, I had a booth at the flea market out there, but I got tired pretty quick of having to be there every weekend, and man the booth. That's why I like the antique booths better.
Yeah.
Stuart, by the way, have you heard anything else about your new adventure to grab that booth?
No, I haven't. I have not heard back from them. So, and I know they're busy. They're opening a new location out on Chapman Highway in South Knoxville. Visit knoxville.com. And so I'm sure they've been busy with that, and I may be way down on the waiting list too. Who knows? So we'll see.
How much, just off the top of my head, how much does a booth like that run when you go do the booth?
I mean, it varies on size. I think at the new place I'm looking, I think they said they average about $275 a month. So, I mean, my booths run from, like, I have 2 booths in Clinton, and my rent's right around somewhere in the $400 range, a little bit more, but and then it's like $300 at one of the other places, and then it's $300 at the other 2 places, but then you get money off for working like at some of those places too. So my net rent ends up being less than what I just mentioned, but so that gives, most booths, I don't know what that works out to square footage wise, but
your sales pay for all your booths, huh? You do.
Oh yeah. I mean, I average, my goal is a 30% margin, and I'll usually run in a bad month. I'll run, 20%. And then there's some months I'll hit 40 or 50% margins, if I happen to sell like a really big piece. I mean, I tend to deal more in smalls, but I do a lot of artwork as well. And, sometime I'll hit a couple of pieces of $100 plus artwork that'll sell in a month. And, it's just nice. Once I know I've hit rent, then it's always nice because everything past that. It's not all profit, but it's all going towards your check anyway.
Right,
How many days of the month does it take before you hit that magic number?
It varies. I mean, sometime in Clinton, I'll hit it within the first 2 or 3 days, just, especially if it happens where, it falls on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the first of the month. I've hit my rent, and it's funny. I think so I've been doing booths for 8 years now. I've been at Granny's in Clinton the longest, 8 years. Then I've been at Beard and Antique Mall for 7, and I think West End for 5. In all the years I've been doing it across all 3 places, I think there's been 1, maybe 2 months where I didn't make a rent, not at each place, but just between all 3 of the places. So,
now, do they just charge you a rent and then percentage of your sales?
10% commission too. So
yeah, it's about average.
So, for me, it's a great way to move stuff that's, some of it's just because it's bigger, and it'd be hard to ship. I have shipped some big stuff, but it's a lot easier to put it at the booth, and it's somewhat passive income. You're not going to be successful if you don't work your booth, but it's not like you have to be out there all the time. And once you get your infrastructure set up, it's not a whole lot of work. But then I've just kind of learned, certain things sell better online, certain things sell better at the booth.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out right now, because we've toyed with the idea of keeping it or not keeping it. But every month we make booth rent. Every month we make, a little bit over, we make some profit off of it. So we are making some money. But I did some analysis of how much I've made off of the booth compared to what I do on online, like sales, like on my, like Dibbed It. And the cost as far as what I'm making per item is much better on Dibbed It. So we toyed with it. But then at the same time, we also kind of figured, to be honest with you, I'd rather almost keep the booth in the sense just because it's paying for itself, but I'm being able to sell items that I really don't want to sell online, like, pop figures. Right. I'm selling a ton of those, and I don't get a lot of them online. I can sell a pop figure for $9.99 online. You practically got to give it free shipping, but I can sell it for $9.99 at the booth, and I pay 10%. So, and today we just signed up. They're redoing the mall that we're in. They're completely flipping it. And they're going to be doing a whole new front end, a whole new entrance, a whole new cash wrap. They're putting all booths up in the front. And so we were going to go change our booth because we thought, well, we want to get up front. But then Sherry wants to do half of her booth for her stuff. But my stuff is like all pop figures and pop culture. But we're going to split the booth, kind of put a divider in it because it's an 8-foot booth. It's pretty good size. So I'm going to give her part, and she's going to do all her vintage bougie kind of goth looking clothes and stuff, and then my side's going to be a little bit more kind of pop figure-ish, but not all pop, like comics and different stuff. We're just going to try to make it look, almost going to make it look Batmanish on my side, and her side's going to look gothic, you know what I mean? So it's going to look cool. But we bought a basically up front when they redo it, we bought a bookshelf, a full bookshelf for $35 a month. I'm going to put all my pop figures and stuff in there and draw people back to our booth. So I think it'll be kind of fun. We'll kind of make it. We're going to try it and see what it does, but I think it'll pay for itself. We've been making booth rent every month. It's been good. We make sales, but I'm trying to I just like what you said. I'm thinking about putting more art type things, like stuff I have some big, really cool comic posters and stuff that I have in, in different kinds of things. I might try to put those in there and try to do that, because I think that might do really well. compared to some of the stuff, because like we're going to start pulling some of the stuff out and move it around and try to sell it elsewhere. But yeah, that's got to be done before July. So we got a lot of work to do in there. So always
like
something.
the best example, like the 3 examples I can think of things that I sell at the booth that I do much better than I would do online are t-shirts, because most of like I find so many, especially this new thrift shop that opened. I mean, every time I go in there, I find 3 or 4 band t-shirts. They're not necessarily vintage. I do find a few vintage ones. But I mean, I can sell them at the booth for $16 all day long, even if they're not vintage. They're just as long as they have a cool band on them, people come in and they buy them. And if I were to try to sell those things online, a non-vintage Nirvana t-shirt, it's probably like $4.
Yeah.
Then records, because I mean, when I'm getting records, a lot of times they're not in the best shape. I mean, they're in okay shape, but to try to sell, like $8 is my go-to price on almost all my records. $8, $10 for double albums. There's a few exceptions. Like if I find Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd, I can usually sell those for $12, even if they're not in the best condition. If I tried to sell those same records online, a lot of them would be like probably $2, $3 album.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the last thing would be books. I mean, I sell a ton of books online, but I can put books out there that, are from the 1800s, and just because they're from the 1800s, people pay $12 for them in the booth. But, based on the condition, I could get $4 for them online. So, now I've sold some like high-end books online. I sold a first edition Phantom of the Opera for like $300 something a couple of months ago that I just found in a collection of books, like a box of books I bought. But it just gives you a lot of options in my case. And we're fortunate being in Knoxville too, since it's a big tourist town. Well, we got a lot of tourist stuff around us, and so we get a lot of traffic coming through. So there's just a lot of out-of-towners coming through, and then so boosts do really well here.
Yeah. I think this will do better once they remodel it and kind of make some changes there. I think it'll start to pick up. I mean, it's been good. Like I said, we love the people there. That's part of the reason why I'm keeping it, because I toyed with getting rid of it, but then I'm like, I mean, for what it's doing, if it's paying for itself, at least I'm able to move some of that stuff. But I think I'm going to mix it up. It's not going to be so pop culturist. It's still going to have comics, because I'm the only guy. They won't let anybody else come in and sell comics, which is cool.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so I'm going to be the only guy doing that. So I got that. Yeah, and I do pretty good. I sell probably, I don't know, I probably sell $100 worth of comics a month.
Wow.
So it's fine. I mean, and I don't have anything in them. That's the whole thing. So, and I'm doing $1, $4, $5 comics. So.
Do you ever work at the mall, or is there an opportunity for you to work?
There probably is, but I don't have time. I just don't have time. So
I try to work. Well, one of my malls doesn't. They don't like allow doers. They have a full time, like 3 people who are full time. But the other 2, I work a number of days a month, and I mean it's kind of a couple of benefits. You get money off your rent, so that's like a tangible benefit. But then I can't tell you how many sourcing opportunities I've gotten. Just somebody happens to come in, and you get to talking to them, and they're like, "Oh, my grandmother just died. I'm gonna be going through a bunch of stuff. Oh, here's my card. Call me." And I've gotten so many sourcing opportunities that way, and then kind of just learning what's selling at any given time.
That's valuable information, because I did sit down and talk with one of the owners last week and said, what do you think's selling? And she really couldn't tell me, because their system, what they use, the vendor system they use, which is probably the same thing everybody uses, but it doesn't give exact, because the way they have to type everything in, they don't have barcodes and all that stuff, obviously, because every vendor is different. So I don't think you have a very good idea. But she's like, well, I see stuff coming in. She goes, I know vintage clothing sells really well. And she goes, obviously CDs and albums and stuff like that seem to be selling really well, because every booth has them. But I don't want to have what every booth has. I want to have something different. So that's what I've been trying to work on, trying to get, we're going to do something a little different, like the vintage clothes, and just trying to make it just get people in there and do something just a little bit different than everybody else. So it's a challenge, though. That's always a challenge. But I like the sourcing ideas. What I have found, though, is I talked to a lot of the vendors that are already in there, and I've met a few that I've gotten some sourcing from. Like one guy's he's like, they said they have a ton of comics. I'm like, okay. And he says, I just want to get rid of them. I'm like, okay, let me know. We'll go in there and talk. There's another guy that said he has a bunch of baseball cards, but I have learned that lesson. I'm not going to buy any. Nobody wants to buy the old cards. I've tried selling them. I've tried doing all that. It just doesn't, at least it doesn't work for me. So, but, so I'm going to try doing something, but I'll buy comics all day long, or if they have old stuff, I'll try to get that from them. So
where do you do most of your sourcing now, David?
Every Saturday. Just garage sales, estate sales, and this one flea market that I did find in Pensacola that I did okay on Saturday, but it definitely isn't any good in the winter time, but in the summer there's just everybody's there. So but yeah, I mean, that's really it. I mean, I have a couple thrift stores that I can go to, like at lunch, but the only day that I can really source is Saturday. That's what I've been really working on, to try and find alternate sourcing. Like the guy I met this weekend that I bought a tire short box of comics from at the flea market, he does clean outs and storage units and all this stuff. And he's like, he goes, I have so many comics, I need to just get rid of them. He goes, I'm just selling them for $40 a box. He's not even care. He goes, I don't look them up. I don't care what's in them. I'm like, oh, that's the perfect kind. I want to know what that guy is right there. So I gave him my card. So I'll probably hit him up and see if I can't get some of them. But that's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to find people that are doing those clean outs. I don't personally want to do a clean out. I do not want to do storage units. But I got to get something, because I need more materials that we can sell, especially like on these auction things, because we've just done so well with them. Like if I could just find I bought last weekend, I was at a garage sale. I dug down, I saw a whole bunch of DVDs in this big bin. I was like, DVDs. I don't want any more DVDs, because I can't, got to sell them 20 at a time to make any money. I got down to the bottom and there's just Blu-rays everywhere. So I started pulling out all the Blu-rays, made a huge stack, bought 60 of them, paid a little less. I think I paid $25. And I got a shirt too. So I sold all those. That's why, we made $200 or $300 selling all those. But that's what you want to find, but you can't always find that. I mean, that was just fortunate, just they had all those Blu-rays in there. So
do you ask, like when you go to yard sales, do you always ask, do you have comics? Do you have this?
Yeah, I try to. Especially, I look at the place too and kind of look at them. You can tell, like if I'm in a place that they're like 80 years old, and their stuff looks old, I don't bother them, but I do try to ask, because video games, that's what I'm looking for. Video games, comics, pop culture stuff, but also clothes, anything vintage looking. So you try to ask and try to do that as much as you can.
Yeah, I almost always ask. Usually my thing I ask for is records, because a lot of times they don't bring them out and they'll say, oh, yeah, I have some in there. And then even if they don't, I just say, hey, I'm always looking for records. If you know anybody who's got any, and I almost always give my card to whoever's running the yard sale at everyone I go to. Yeah, I know some people are funny about people knowing they're resellers, but I don't know. To be honest, when you come in at 8:00 and you're buying stuff that, a normal guy's just not going to buy for themselves. People think that people don't know they're resellers, but it's like you've got, Scarlet Letter or something, it's people who know you're.
I have this on, and this gets a lot of attention right there. Just the most of the time that people are, oh, you got a YouTube channel? I go, yes, I do have a YouTube channel. What do you do with it? I'm like, I talk about reselling. I said, I talk about reselling, and I show things that I buy. I buy and sell and collect. And my card says on it, I collect. I do collect. Right. Look behind me. That's my collection. And there and there and there. I do collect. It's not like I sell. Well, sure.
It's like this guy. I was going in the estate sale yesterday. And you watch people when they're coming out. If they don't have anything, you're like, everything either is gone, or there's not that good pickings. Or you have that person. I said to this guy yesterday, I said, nothing to suit your need? He goes, nope. Nothing I wanted. I said, I understand. And you could tell he was flat out a reseller.
But you know what, though?
They had a good house full of stuff.
I had that happen a couple of weeks ago. I was at an estate sale and I walked in and there's people just walking out. It's like, there's one guy said, there's nothing left in there. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I walked in and the first table I come to is a bunch of Harley parts. Now, I don't want to mess with the Harley parts, but you know what was there? 2 books on Harley, how to repair Harleys. 2 big, thick, like Chilton type books so I picked them up, sold them for $45 a piece, picked them up for $250. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it really depends on what you say. If you've been doing this long enough, you have an idea of things. There's some people that are so one-minded about what they sell. That's what they sell. If they don't see I've seen people come up and go, first thing they ask you, do you have any video games? No. Okay. They're gone. Or whatever. So, and that's it. I mean, but I'll go up and I'll see 20 video games and I'll make an offer and I'll get them. I buy them every time I can see them. If I can get them for less than $2, I'll buy them. If I see a Chilton book or a repair book, I'm going to pick it up because I know it sells. It will sell eventually. Right. I sold that and an outboard motor book that I just bought that was how to repair an outboard, a really specific outboard motor. It sold. I mean, $40. I mean, I don't know. I mean, people just have you got to know what you got to try to sell. I mean,
so David, if you had one way to source, what would it be? If you had to pick of all the ways to do it, how would you do it?
Man, I don't know. Garage sales to me are the most fun. It's just because it's a treasure hunt, right? I mean, you don't know what you're going to find. You come up to a garage sale, you get some stuff, but you just they're really cool. Garage sales, estate sales, and then I don't do much in thrift stores, but garage sales, estate sales, I really want to learn how to do more sourcing. And I want more private picks. That's where I want to get to.
Building the relationships to start getting those private picks is the key. I mean, I know there's full-time resellers who do all their sourcing through the bins or through estate sales or through auctions, but I don't know. To me, it's hard to find enough stuff just relying on, especially yard sales, because they're hit or miss. I mean, you find your highest margin items at a yard sale, you typically just can't find enough of it.
Right. That's my problem.
Estate sales are kind of similar, but I've been handing out my cards so long now and done so many, going to people's houses that, people have just given my name, and I get calls all the time now to go look at stuff. And and it's awesome when you're the only one there. And, and the main thing I tell people is, you got to get your name out there and you got to be fair with people. I always explain up front, and we'll usually go through eBay together, and I'll explain, that I do most of my comps through eBay because that's my main platform I sell on. And, I use the product research tool, not just sold listings, because that goes back 3 years, the product research tool does. And, and we'll go through and we'll find a couple of sold listings, because a lot of times they'll have looked on replacements, especially for China, and they'll say, oh, this plate's worth $100. Well, no, it's not. I can probably sell it for a quarter of what it's on for on replacement, and then I'm going to give you 40% of that. That's kind of my general rule of thumbs. I pay 40% of what I think I can sell it for.
That's not bad.
Because, that takes into account it's going to take a while to sell it. There's the work involved in selling it. There's the fees. There's whatever. And by the time you sell it, now sometimes you get lucky and, you might have, just happened, the comp showed it, at one price and you're able to sell it for more for whatever reason. But then the opposite of that happens a lot of times too, where you can't sell it for what the comp's sold. So
one thing about estate sales is the differences in how a lot of them are ran. I don't know if you all have noticed that, but it's really unique. Some of them you go in, it's very cold. It's very not inviting, I've noticed. But then the one I was in yesterday, I mean, these people were great. Every room you went into, hey, honey, how you doing? Come on in here. You find stuff, and it's like, oh, you did get you something. So
they're willing to deal. It depends on the company.
And they were willing to deal.
Yeah, it depends on the company.
It does depend.
There's some companies that are really rigid. Like we've got a few of them that we just know. Sherry and I know when we can see that, when we go, we're not going to find anything because we know they're not going to give us a deal. But we know one person that owns it, so we know that one. So we've gotten some furniture and stuff that we bought for my daughter that she gave us a good deal on. But other stuff you just can't. But the ones that where we have our booth, they also own an estate sale company. So that company, so they're sisters. They own the Flip Flops, Vendors Mall, and they own the E68, which is the estate sale company. So we know them really well. So at this point, they know us and they give us good deals all the time. So, I go in, I can say, look, I want to buy all this. I did that with comics. I've done that with toys. I've done that with all kinds of stuff. And they just, especially if you go on the second day, they're like, sure, we'll do it for that. but there's other ones you just can't get any deals on. But Stuart, you've inspired me because I need to give out more business cards. I just realize how important that is. I mean, I do give them out. Like, I don't have them with me all the time. Sherry carries them, and I said, "Do you have my card?" And she'll give them a card, but I need to do that. Just hand it out all the time. I think that's going to be the key. I got to redo my business cards anyway, puts all the new stuff on. But so I think that's probably a better idea because honestly, I've got to get better. I got to get more sourcing because one day a week, and Sherry and I were just talking about this too. It's like, you can't do this. You never could do this business full-time sourcing one day a week. You can't. You can do it part-time. It's a good part-time job, but you've got to be able to source more. I need, if I could do 3 or 4 days a week where I had somebody calling me to get stuff, I mean, that would be the real.
I mean, the other place I do pretty well, I go out to estatesales.net and just look for all the online auctions that are local pickup.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's certain things I know they just go high on online auctions, but there's value to be found in a lot of things, especially box lots and stuff. If you can get 20 items in a box and you get them for, less than $1 a piece, and there's a couple of figurines in there I know I can sell for $8 to $12. And so I do a fair amount of sourcing through online auctions as well. And once again, the problem with those, though, if you're not full time, a lot of times pickups, if it ends on a Monday, pickup's going to be on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and it's like in the middle of the day. So if it's not close to where you live or close to where you work, it's hard to take the time. But
man, that's
where do you get your cards from?
I get mine from Vistaprint.
Vistaprint.
Yeah, that's where I get mine too.
David, we appreciate you joining us again this evening, taking the time to jump back in on another episode that you're a part of. Thank you so much for coming in, my friend.
Enjoy it. I enjoy it.
And even though you're a regular, Dave, go ahead and tell us. I know, obviously, your YouTube channel's Breeze Flippers.
Breeze Flippers, Yep. Everywhere on Instagram. Instagram, Facebook, everywhere you can find us at Breeze Flippers. And come over and check us out on the channel. And we got lots of stuff going on, but and then Breeze Flippers on eBay as well. So, and then hey, if you ever come to Dibdit, Breeze Flips, and you get $5 off your $10 purchase, first $10 purchase. So anyway, dibdit.com. So come find us there. We do a lot of auctions, and Wes and I are going to do an auctions, very soon here. One of these days,
done a couple
we'll
so far.
Yeah, we've done a couple. It's been fun. Yeah. So.
Well, we've definitely rooted for you from the beginning, David, and we were so excited when you had that video that got the over 6,000 views, and hopefully we both can have that experience, you again and us kind of for the first time with one of our regular videos. So yeah, make sure you if you're watching, make sure you subscribe, like the video. That helps us out in the algorithm. Yes, as far as people watching the channels, and make sure you leave a comment and let us know what you liked or didn't like. But
yeah, good comments, bad comments are all the same.
Yeah,
I'll take them all. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much, and thanks for joining us again, David, on the episode 68 of the Finder Flippers Resale Podcast. Gentlemen, have a great week of reselling, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks.
Hope you're having a good time at the beach, Johnny. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye, John.